I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Let me tell you why you're here. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes
to blind you from the truth. The truth that your life serves a corrupt political machine. We've been fed the ideals of freedom and justice.
The illusion of safety.
As America has been exploited by the obsessive pursuit of personal wealth and power above all else.
Because all we care about is getting rich.
We've been pitted against one another along the lines of Democrat and Republican, rich and poor, black and white, as our republic has been distorted into a nation of abuse and carnage. We have allowed endless war and surveillance, killing millions around the world and violating the constitutional rights at home that our veterans believed they were serving to protect.
A $1.4 billion industry. That's what this war is all about.
We have allowed a culture of violence that has made shootings, brutality, and assault an everyday occurrence. We have allowed for-profit prisons that have locked up more human beings than anywhere else on Earth, leaving millions of families in cycles of poverty and despair. We have allowed a cultural and physical genocide against Native Americans. We have allowed our food to become toxic, produced by the same companies that profit on our chronic disease. We have allowed modern systems of sex trafficking and slave labor that show us how dark and perverse our world still is. We have allowed the hollowness, hopelessness, and heartbreak of our broken society to drive an epidemic of depression, addiction, and suicide. We have allowed an outcast class of poor and homeless Americans who we've dehumanized and disregarded. We have allowed the destruction of the environment that our future generations depend upon for the sake of short-sighted gains. How did this happen? Who is to blame? We are. We've been too manipulated by the political play between Republican and Democrat to think for ourselves and act according to our conscience.
We accept the reality of the world with which we're presented. It's as simple as that.
Both parties have sold out on the American people, and the charade of our political entertainment industry keeps us distracted from the truth that we are all being brutally exploited. There is no one evil corporation or individual to blame. This is a failure of an entire system.
But I think it's time you know the truth.
It is the international system of currency which determines the totality of life on this planet.
Wealth and power concentrate in a handful of massive corporations. Corporations exert their immense influence in our political system for private profit.
They almost have what they want. Absolute control.
Corporate Republican and Democratic leaders defy the interests of those they've sworn to represent and neglect the fundamental problems that undermine our lives.
Fool, if you want to save the planet, you got to play the right music.
Yeah, let us show you how it's done.
Since we've all played a role in creating this system, we have the power to recreate our government together, of, by, and for the people. This is a declaration of nonviolent national revolution, and this is your invitation to participate. The purpose of the American Liberation Movement is to end the domination and corruption of Democrat and Republican parties through a national political strike that declares we will not vote for candidates identified with the Democrat and Republican parties, and will vote for candidates independent from them. No other political change in America will have a greater transformation than removing the two parties that have enabled the corruption, collusion, and carnage that has become our inheritance. The only thing that gives the two-party system power is our perpetual obedience to it. As we withdraw our participation from this hollow national ritual, it loses its power. The two-party system is already on life support, and the only reason it is still here is because we haven't yet pulled the plug. We can rise above the fear and hatred used as its primary tactic of control. Our country will never be free until our minds are free of the assumption that Republican or Democrat are our only choice. You have the power to declare your independence by telling your representatives that you will not vote for them unless they renounce their existing two-party affiliation and denounce its legitimacy. You have the power to unite a national movement that invites millions of Americans to participate in the most important strike in American history. This is not a call to rise up against the government. It is a call to take down the political system that has held our government hostage. Now is our opportunity to strike a fatal blow at the heart of our nation's corruption and abuse.
Great shot, kid. That was 1 in a million.
Liberated from the Democrat and Republican parties, we can discover a new way forward and create a world that truly works for all. This is an invitation. This is an uprising. This is a call for every human being who stands for alleviating suffering and corruption. We are ready to liberate ourselves from division and fear. What we do now will determine the fate of humanity. The most powerful nation on earth is about to elect its next president amidst the largest economic and ecological collapse in history. When your grandchildren ask what you did during this historic moment, will you tell them that all you could do was vote for the lesser of two evils while the world burned? We can birth a thriving future, but must first pull the plug on the two-party tyrant that has defined our violent past. Sign the new Declaration of Independence and join the national strike to end the Republican and Democrat parties. Together, we will write the next chapter in American history. If we choose to see possibility where we've seen fear, if we find our power where we have felt weak, if we create unity where we've been divided, then when the sun rises on November 5th, it will rise across a reborn United States of America. The choice is yours.
No one will ever forget that night and what it meant for this country.
Great story. Compelling and rich.
All clear.
Uh-oh. I might be in trouble on that one.